We have here a friend of ours who has written a book on Vedic physics. It is not yet published, it is going to be published very soon. There are many others who have written mathematics, for example. There is also a claim that mathematics is also involved in this Vedic text. It is also said that Vedas contain ethics, what you should do. In fact, it is said that you can get all kind of knowledge from any other sciences. But as far as what you ought to do, that knowledge you can get only from the Veda. And that knowledge is so profoundly given. It's also a claim in it. My present concern is only to show that the Veda contains the highest possible understanding of the divine consciousness, human consciousness, connection between the two, and the methods by which you can rise from human consciousness to the divine consciousness, so that the highest fulfillment can be possible. This knowledge is certainly present, according to me, certainly present in the Veda. And for that reason I call it Veda as a book of knowledge. Now something of this kind we shall be able to taste in these verses which I am going to read out to you. I won't read the Sanskrit part because many of us do not know Sanskrit, but I shall read Sri Aurobindo's translation. Now this translation of Sri Aurobindo is not ritualistic interpretation. It's directly psychological interpretation. But this is what it says. This is by Vishwamitra says, we have made the sacrifice to ascend toward the Supreme. Let the word increase. I'll just stop here at this moment. When you read this whole passage, you will find that it will somewhat look a bizarre statement. A bizarre statement is one in which a statement is made, second statement is made, third is made, fourth made, but there are no links. And you don't understand why this sentence should follow this sentence and why this word should follow this sentence. It's called bizarre. But you should experience it. That's why I'm reading it. You should see that Veda, why many people say this is incoherent, barbaric, primitive, there are no connections, no sense in it. This is the criticism which is made about the Veda, and we have to understand why. And this is an example when you read it. For example, even now the first sentence I read, we have made a sacrifice to ascend to the Supreme. Let the word increase. Now what is the connection? We have made the sacrifice to the Supreme. Let the word increase. Prancham yajjam chakrama vardhatam gihi. This is the sentence. Prancham yajjam chakrama. Chakrama means we did it, we performed. Prancham, the highest, over the highest, yajjam. We have done the highest possible sacrifice to reach the Supreme. It claims that there is a Supreme, and we have made attempt to reach the Supreme. But then let the word increase. Vardhatam gihi. What is the connection? So it may, in the very first sight you may say, the one who has written does not know. Let the word increase. And word, what is the word? What is the meaning of word increasing? Can the words increase? Word is word. What's the meaning of vardhatam gihi? What is the increase of the word? We shall come to all that, but I am just making a remark so that when you read it, don't feel uncomfortable. This is a challenge, as it were. So the Vedic text is a challenge to our consciousness. It's like riddles. In riddles you say many things which don't make any sense in the beginning, and only when key is given, then you can find out the meaning. That is why there is a need to interpret the Veda, there is a need to find the key of the Veda. And this is an example which will give you an experience of it. With kindlings of his fire, with obeisance of submission, they set Agni to his workings. They have given expression in the heaven to the knowings of the seers, and their desire a passage for him in his strength, in his desire of the world. Now you will see all bizarre statements from a certain point of view. Now go forward. Full of intellect, purified in discernment, the perfect friend or perfect builder from his birth of heaven and of earth, he establishes the bliss. The gods discovered Agni visible in the waters in the working of the sisters. Now you will see so many concepts put together, and unless you have got some kind of symbolic meaning or understanding, it won't make any meaning. What does it mean? Now, move forward. The seven mighty ones increased him. Him here refers to Agni. The seven mighty ones increased him, who utterly enjoys felicity, white in his birth, ruddy when he has grown. They moved and laboured about him, the mares around the newborn child. The gods gave body to Agni in his birth. Go on. With his pure bright limbs he extended and formed the middle world, purifying the will to action by the help of the pure lords of wisdom. Wearing light as a robe about all the life of the waters, he formed in himself glories vast and without any deficiency. He moved everywhere about the mighty ones of heaven, and they devoured not, neither were overcome. They were not clothed, neither were they naked. Here, the eternal and ever-young goddesses from one womb held the one child, they, the seven worlds. Spread out were the masses of him in universal forms, in the womb of the clarity, in the flowings of the sweetnesses. Here, the fostering rivers stood nourishing themselves. The two mothers of the accomplishing God became vast and harmonized. Born by them, O child of force, thou didst blaze out, holding thy bright and rapturous embodiments. Outflow the streams of the sweetness, the clarity, where the bull of the abundance has grown by the wisdom. He discovered at his birth the source of the abundance of the Father, and he loosed forth wide his streams and wide his rivers. By his helpful comrades and by the mighty ones of heaven, he found him moving in the secret places of existence, yet himself was not lost in their secrecy. He was the child of the Father, and of him that begot him. One, he fed upon his many mothers in their increasing. In this pure male, both these powers in man, earth and heaven, have the common Lord and Lover. Do thou guard them both. Great in the unobstructed vast he increased. Yeah, many waters victoriously increase Agni. In the source of the truth, he lay down. There he made his home, Agni in the working of the undivided sisters. As the mover in things and as a sustainer, he in the meeting of the great ones, seeking vision, straight in his lusters for the presser out of the Soma wine, he who is the father of the radiances, he who was the father of the radiances, gave them now their higher birth, the child of the waters, the mighty and most strong Agni. To the visible birth of the waters and of the growths, Earth, the goddess of delight, now gave birth in many forms, she of the utter felicity. The gods united in him by the mind, and they set him to his working, who was born full of strength and mighty for the labor. Those white, vast shinings glowed to Agni, straight in his luster, and were like bright lightnings. From him increasing in the secret places of existence, in his own seat within the shoreless vast, they milked out immortality. Now we are before these 13 verses before us, and at first sight quite incomprehensible. Even if you take ritualistic interpretation, it will not make a much difference actually. It is as incomprehensible in one way or the other. And Veda consists of all kinds of statements of this kind. And that is why we have to try to understand. Now let us, before going into interpretation, a few words I will speak about them. In the Veda, there is this arrangement of exposition of the mantras. In every mandala, except the 9th mandala, where it is devoted only to Soma. In at least the 7 mandalas, all of them begin with address to Agni. The first suktas are all addressed to Agni. It's a system. Why Vyasa has done so, it requires also a questioning. Why Vyasa selects Agni to be the first suktas in every mandala? According to my understanding, he does so because Agni is the one companion, the one power, the one force, whose help is available to us because he belongs to the earth, as it were. He is available here on the earth, most easily available. And if you know the secret of the Agni, if you know how to call him for your companionship, if you can take help of him, if you understand him properly, and if you move with him, if you call him and move with him, then you can reach to the highest. This is the speciality of the function of Agni according to the Veda. It is for this reason, I think, that Vyasa's thought that Agni should be given primary place in all the mandalas.